Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back with another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and today we're going to be talking about why Super Dragon Ball Heroes is the best, my favorite, celebration of the year. I'm such a big fan of Super Dragon Ball Heroes, and every time we get to experience another year of it in Dokkan Battle, it is always an absolute blast for me. I am such a fan of Dragon Ball Heroes, even outside of Dokkan. So the fact that two of these things that I love so much, Dokkan and SDBH, get to clash together to come and accumulate, or I guess culminate would be the correct word, into one thing is just so much fun for me. So we're going to talk about today why I love Super Dragon Ball Heroes so much, this celebration, and why I think it's the best. Actually, my favorite. I'm sorry, I kind of clickbaited you on this one. And for today's video, we also have a very special guest, somebody who I actually have, discussed in the past on streams and on Twitter and stuff with regarding tons of SDBH stuff, and a fellow SDBH fanboy, as it were, the boy Mas Ningen. So he's going to take it away to start this video to tell us some of the reasons why the SDBH celebration is so great and why we love it so much. And then your boy will take the reins again. So take it away, Mas Ningen. Hey, so I know this video is kind of coming out a little bit late, as in the Heroes celebration is already over, but this video was intended to come out way in the beginning of the celebration. Funny enough, when I originally made the Super Dragon Ball Heroes Month graphic, it was actually meant to be one of the first couple videos that was one of the mystery videos. However, since the SDBH celebration came out really early this year, it kind of messed up the schedule that I had in my mind, and then other content came along and we got other things in Dokkan that kind of pushed this video back. So it's here now. The video is released. I'm finally so happy that I was actually able to get this video out. I apologize that it's coming out after the fact of the celebration. And the other thing to note with that is that Ningen's cameo that is literally about to happen after I stop talking and I guess resume time here was actually recorded before we even knew what cards we were going to be getting besides Hearts and the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4s. We knew those were coming, but before we actually had the full lineup of characters, that was recorded from Ningen. So I just want that to be known. If it seems like it's weird that he's not talking about the new stuff or anything like that, that's the reason why. The rest of this video was recorded afterward. I'm also sorry, Ningen, that this video took so long to come out and I had you record it so far ahead of time, but it's out. That's all that matters. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Let's get into it.
Hey guys, it's the Mas Ningen here. As a fellow Heroes enthusiast, our boy has invited me on to explain why I personally am such a big fan of Dragon Ball Heroes. If you guys follow me on Twitter or have checked out any of my videos recently, you know that I've been gassing up the celebration, getting very hype, waiting for all this stuff to come out. So he has asked me to come on and talk a little bit about why I am such a big fan of Dragon Ball Heroes. So I think when it comes down to the real nitty-gritty of it, the reason why I like Heroes so much is because it really is like an official Dragon Ball what if scenario. So, and I'm not talking about the weird like what if scenarios that people make up to make weird videos about, but it's more the fact that if we scroll down and have a look at some of the characters, one of the things that I've always really liked about Heroes, back from when they made the like promotional trailers for the different updates, was the fact that we get to see a bunch of forms on characters who never got those forms in the actual anime. Because for me personally, I am a huge fan of both the Super Saiyan 4 form and the Super Saiyan 3 form. And obviously throughout the actual official like run of Dragon Ball Z and even GT, like very few characters actually get those forms. Like in terms of Dragon Ball Z, when we talk about like Super Saiyan 3, obviously only Goku and then the young Gotenks go Super Saiyan 3 throughout the entirety of Dragon Ball Z. And then in GT, we obviously have Goku and Vegeta go Super Saiyan 4, and then obviously Gogeta Super Saiyan 4 is in it as well. But we get to see a bunch of stuff in Heroes of all these characters getting forms that they never actually got in the show. And stuff like that I think is really cool, especially when it comes to forms that I personally enjoy, like Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 4. So we haven't seen it in Dokkan yet, but there is like Super Saiyan 3 Gogeta and Super Saiyan 3 Vegito. I think that would be awesome to see in the future. Obviously, Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 is like a new thing in Heroes, which is going to hopefully, well, I say hopefully, it is coming this year, because we know we're getting Goku and Vegeta, and the headline unit should hopefully be Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. But then I also like the fact that we've got a whole, like, you know, there's not a lot of lore in the anime that's given away, right? You kind of have to play the games or, like, read the manga, kind of, like, investigate that lore yourself. But all the stuff about the Dark Demon Army, all these characters like Meki Kabura, the weird, like, demon god thing, which seems to be like a form in and of itself, because we know Dabura and Toa are already characters, but then we have like Demon God Dabura, Demon Goddess Toa, characters like Demon Goddess Poutine that was the free-to-play unit last year, and then we got this summonable unit last year, Robel, who her awakening doesn't seem to have changed her in terms of Dokkan, but in the actual anime she has a Demon Goddess form as well. So it's like a whole range of characters, whole new forms, and all this kind of stuff. Like, to me, I just think it is very cool. And one thing that I've talked about quite a lot as well, I really like the fact that all the characters from Heroes, whether they're supposed to be the ones from like an alternate timeline, or just the ones that are members of the Time Patrol, the fact that they're all referred to as like the Xeno versions of the characters, and they all get like outfit redesigns. Like this Xeno Goku, like his outfit is probably my favourite of all the Gokus, including the classic like orange and blue. So, like, I just love everything about the design for the characters. Like, the only thing I think that's been a bit of a miss is the latest redesign of Trunks, where he has the, like, yellow gloves and stuff. I think that's a bit weird. But other than that, all of these characters, like even Pan, who's a character that I don't particularly care about, but I think the design of Xeno Pan is cooler than the normal Pan design. So, I like the fact that all of these characters seem to come back and get extra new designs and different clothes and all that kind of stuff. I think that's very cool. And of course, all these new forms and things. Of course, I like built my channel around the, you know, the Masked Saiyan. So I'm appreciating all these like Time Breaker mask characters. The fact that they all have like slightly different designed masks and stuff, I think is really cool. And of course, you can see on the side one of my channel art things that I like to use quite a lot. Of course, we have Master Goku Black, who's one of my favourite Dragon Ball villains as well. So the crossover with him and Heroes is definitely something that I super enjoy. So for me, honestly, a lot of it is just down to style. Like, I'm never going to argue that I think the story of Heroes is like, you know, something awesome that makes a whole ton of sense. I just really like this idea of, it reminds me of being a kid and having those discussions about Dragon Ball characters. And, you know, saying things like, oh, wouldn't it have been awesome to see, like, Super Saiyan 3 Trunks and stuff like that. So, one of the reasons why I love Heroes is we get to see all of these forms. And one of the reasons why I love Heroes in Dokkan is we get buffs for those teams. We get a whole load of uniquely named characters, right? Because, you know, we're going to get Super Saiyan Gokus and Super Saiyan 2 Gokus and stuff like till the end of the game. But when we get a Super Saiyan 3 Trunks, that's a uniquely named character that can fit on a bunch of teams, and just brings a whole lot to the originality of all the different characters that you can use on your team. So overall, I'm a huge fan of Dragon Ball Heroes. Can't wait for the celebration this year. I'd meant for this to not be too long, so hopefully I didn't ramble too much. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what some of the other people think, and reading your comments on why you guys love Dragon Ball Heroes as well. So make sure you come check me out. I'm going to be going ham. I'm going to rainbow all the new Heroes units. It's got to be done. So hopefully I will see you guys around the channel, and shout out to our boy for having me on. So peace out.
And thank you, Mas Ningen, for joining me on today's video. Funny enough, a lot of the stuff that Ningen said was actually a lot of the things that I was going to say, so it worked out perfectly, and I didn't even plan for what he was going to say. He just went for it, and we lined up with a lot of the stuff that we actually really enjoyed. Just all of the unique forms the Heroes has to offer. Obviously, you get a lot of villain support. I'm a big fan of Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 4, just like Ningen mentioned, so all these great things accumulating into one celebration is just another reason why I love it so much. Another thing that I just absolutely adore about this celebration, absolutely, is the summons. With this banner, it is just one of the most fun experiences when it comes to summoning, in my opinion. I like summoning in general, right? I'm a gacha addict, so how would I not like summoning, you know? But when it comes to the Dragon Ball Heroes banner, this is a banner where you are guaranteed a featured unit every single time without fail. And even though there are most certainly times where I have some of the featured banner units rainbowed already, most of the time obviously that's if units get an awakening and I already pulled them a lot in the previous year, right? Then of course, in that case, sometimes I pull things that I don't need. But not only is it most of the time, right, besides that of course, I end up pulling units that, you know, I actually don't have or just want to pull. Since it's guaranteed featured, you're at least guaranteed to get something that you want vaguely, I guess you should say, right? Every single time, right? Especially with this new banner, obviously summoning for the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4s and Hearts and whatnot, wanting those guys so bad and basically getting them guaranteed once every multi is just so much fun. And it's nice because you don't feel that pressure as much, I feel like, when you're summoning on this banner. Like, I feel like a lot of the time when I'm summoning on regular banners, I'm kind of like, oh, am I going to pull the unit? Am I not? You know, am I even going to get something usable? Am I not? Because obviously by this point, I've been playing the game so long, I have a lot of the stuff in the game rainbowed. But with this, I don't really feel that sort of pressure when summoning. I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to get something that I'm going to enjoy, which is great. And of course, that's not even taking into consideration that obviously you could get multiple of the featured unit in the multi, but the entire unfeatured pool is actually just Heroes units only, which is so awesome, because then obviously all of these years, if you weren't able to rainbow the Heroes units on their debut banner, you have a chance to get some dupes in a couple of these units from the unfeatured pool, which is awesome. And with that, right, you're not going through all of these units that you've had rainbowed for such a long time, right? The regular unfeatured pool, getting chances for units that really aren't that good. The nice thing about the Dragon Ball Heroes units is that even if a character isn't particularly the best right now when you pull them, every single Heroes unit gets some kind of easy A at some point, right? So they will be good, or at least pretty good, right? Obviously, sometimes these units tend to age in different ways. There's some Heroes units that have stood the test of time incredibly well, and there's some that have really fallen off. But overall, right, obviously with that in mind, every time that you're pulling an unfeatured unit, right, you're still getting something that you can use, or obviously just a really cool unit in general. And they've even introduced the Easy A banners in recent time, which have all of the units on them that got an Easy A this year, so you can even have a better chance to pull them. And if you're going for units specifically in the unfeatured pool, with that banner, you have an even better chance to pull them because the pool is even smaller, right? Because the featured units are now taken out of the unfeatured pool that would be on the new banner, and obviously those new banner units there aren't on the banner anymore, so it's an even smaller pool of units to pull from to try and get that one unit that you're maybe trying to snipe. And not to mention, in this year's celebration, we actually got discounts on this banner, which was super cool. 30 stones for 3 multis in a row, which was awesome. You really, really love to see that type of stuff. And not only that, right, for me who doesn't have all of the units rainbowed, even though I do have quite a few of them, that is just a fantastic way to pick up some of those extra copies that I'm looking for. And obviously, discounted multis, excuse me, are always a good thing, and especially on JP, because obviously we never get discounts on anything, so that was really cool to see. Now, above all of that, above all of the fantastic, unique forms that we get to see, on top of all of these forms that I absolutely love getting a little bit more love in Dokkan than they usually do, on top of getting all these extra villain units that we may not get, on top of the so much fun summons that we get to indulge in SDBH time. The thing for me, above all with the SDBH celebration that I love so much, is the fact that everybody just absolutely goes crazy and rallies around something that I love and enjoy so much. I am a huge fan of SDBH even outside of Dokkan. I was a fan of SDBH even separated from Dokkan before Dokkan even got SDBH celebrations, right? I'm a huge fan of this. I guess you would call it like a sub-franchise of the regular franchise, right? There are just so many great things to enjoy about it, from the games to the actual cards themselves, to even getting figures of some of these more unique characters in forms, to collecting the V-Jumps to be able to see all the brand new cards that are coming out and sometimes getting some promo cards in them, to watching the actual arcade game online, whether that be from the official YouTube channel or people just posting cam footage of them sitting down at their local arcade and playing the game. And it's sort of that mystery type of element, not maybe mystery is the right word, but sort of mystique maybe, where it's something that's just out of reach for me, right? Like, I can't play the authentic game. Of course, there is the Switch version of the game and the PC version, World Mission, but with the actual arcade game, right, it's something that I sort of look forward to eventually being able to do myself, right? When I take a trip to Japan, you know, in the far future, and being able to just see something that I feel like, oh, that's so cool. And it's almost like, since a lot of people don't know about it, it almost feels like more rare in a way, even though that's kind of a weird thing to say, right? It kind of feels more special because it's like this niche sort of thing, right? And on top of all of that too, of course, watching the cutscenes from the game are something that I not only enjoy to this day, but of course, way back when, just discovering Super Dragon Ball Heroes on YouTube and getting to watch all these little scenes of these little 30-second snippets of just the most wild shenanigans happening, right? Like, I remember there was one where it's Mecha Frieza, King Cold, and then Metal Cooler Core, and they're fighting like adult Gotenks. Or there's one where they have Super Saiyan 2 Gogeta in it, right? There's just all these crazy shenanigans that happen where all these characters just pop in out of nowhere. I remember there's one where like all of these Majin characters attack all at once, where it's like all these different villains, but they've become, you know, embedded with Babidi's magic, which is just so cool. Watching those ever since I was young and watching every single new one of those just come out has always been such a great time. Like on YouTube, they have those like hour, 2 hour long compilations of all those, and it's just so fun going through them and watching them. And now, of course, we have the SDBH official anime, which is kind of like an offshoot of that. Even though they still do those little like 30-second clips, basically, those don't feel as special anymore because a lot of the time they basically just take stuff from the actual like SDBH promotional anime, but sometimes they do still kind of have their own subcategory thing going on, so they still are very worth it to watch in my opinion, and I still watch every single one because obviously the more Dragon Ball Heroes content that I can get my hands on, the better. And obviously the live streams as well, not only of course live streaming myself playing Dokkan when the celebration happens, but actually watching the Super Dragon Ball Heroes live streams, and specifically the anniversary live streams with all of you, is just so much fun. That is by far one of my favorite streams to do all year. It is just such a great time being able to watch the event with a bunch of the homies, and obviously all of you watching at home, right? It's just a blast, right? Seeing everything that they announced for the upcoming year for Dragon Ball Heroes, right? Seeing all the new cards, all the special edition stuff, and of course, seeing those Dokkan announcements fresh off the press. It's always a fantastic time. And because of Dokkan, I really get to talk about my love about all of these things to a greater extent when the celebration is happening, because obviously everybody is sort of interested in Super Dragon Ball Heroes during this time. So I get to just go crazy with how much I enjoy all this stuff, which honestly is a huge contributing factor to why I love this celebration so much. And that is going to do it for our video today on why I love the Super Dragon Ball Heroes celebration so much. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it for you. I had to call it the best so that you would click on the video. I'm sorry. I'm just playing the YouTube algorithm. Listen, you can blame Susan, not me. But thank you guys so much for enjoying. Thank you so much to Ningen for the cameo. I really, really appreciate it. Again, I apologize if this video came out so late with all the different scheduling things that happened and all the different content that sort of came along. It ended up being a little bit of a goofy scenario where this video sort of got pushed back and back and back until we got here. But I'm glad that I was finally able to get the video out. And if you guys like the Super Dragon Ball Heroes celebration, don't forget to leave a like below and tell me what your favorite part about the celebration is. Obviously, now you know mine and Mr. Ningen's as well, of course. Don't forget to go check out him in the channel description, or the channel description. Well, his channel description, I guess, will be down there when you click on the link to his channel below. Got it. But yeah, definitely go check out the boy. He does tons of Dokkan Battle content. He makes great stuff, so definitely go click and subscribe to ya boy. And other than that, that's going to do it for me. I will see you guys in the next one. Dokkan Assets out. Peace.